We've all experienced having a fight with someone, coming prepared with all the right arguments in our arsenal, saying, surely, this time I'll show it to you. But then, the fight starts, you start giving your well-thought argument that just moments earlier seemed unbeatable to you. But you notice something. The other person doesn't give a damn shit about anything you're saying. They just spat in your face everything they came prepared with. And then the argument ends and you realize you haven't told that fucker anything. So you sit there angry and disappointed, asking yourself, why? Why didn't he listen to me? How come I didn't win that? Well, my friend, that's exactly what I want to show you in this video. Why we can never win an argument. Why we always fight, but it seems like the outcomes that we get from it are never worth it. Also, quick disclaimer before starting the video. If you came here to get a quick dopamine boost, I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm able to provide that. In part because I'm a bit slower when I talk and not as engaging as other YouTubers. And in the other part because I want my content to be directed to people who actually come here to educate themselves and who are here to listen. So if you are one of those people, then I suggest you stick around, because I really think this video will be able to provide value to you. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll leave the other me to talk. So let's get right into it. A couple of days ago, I made a tweet about something I saw happening that day. Also, if you don't already follow me, I suggest you do both of us a favor and check the link in the description. But in the tweet, I talked about the fight that I saw happening that day. And not a street fight, no, I don't deal with that kind, thankfully. I'm talking about an intellectual fight. One in which both parties came prepared with sound arguments and a deep desire to learn. Or at least that should have been the case, but as we all know, in reality, things don't really work like that. Both parties didn't come prepared with neither good arguments nor a desire to learn. They were all there to say why they were right in a completely chaotic and unorganized way. Meanwhile, not letting the other party talk, just screaming and insulting each other over and over again. That's what arguments are for 99% of the time. But why? Why can't we just simply put apart our differences and listen with a deep desire to learn what the other person's opinion is? Well, in the same day that this fight happened, I talked to my mom about it and we came up with a pretty good conclusion. We humans don't fight in order to solve problems, in order to have a discussion, or even in order to make a point. The only reason we actually fight is so that we can be heard. We have a biological need to be heard by others. Just think about pre-ancient times. Who was the most important person in a tribe? Well, obviously, that would be the tribe leader, right? But think about it. What was special about him? What made him the leader? Well, everybody would always listen to what he had to say. We associate our importance with how much others listen to us. That's why we crave so badly to be heard by others. We want to feel important. Fights and arguments are simply a way for us to express ourselves and to gain control. And this also applies in nature. Just imagine you're walking down the street. What dog's barks you're going to hear the most? Well, obviously, it's going to be that fucking Chihuahua's barks, the one that's held in a purse and that always wants to be heard. The more we feel like we're unimportant, the more we're going to fight and struggle for others to hear us, even if it's done in ugly and destructive ways. That's why we can never win an argument, because we're there to talk, but the other person isn't there to listen, or vice versa. But at the beginning of the video, I said that there is a way for you to improve. There is a way for you to make arguments such that you and the person you're fighting with both walk away happily after the fight has ended. And trust me, everyone, absolutely everyone would be grateful to you for that. So, how do we actually do it? Number one, if it's at all possible, try not to have an argument in the first place. The best way to win an argument will always be to not enter one. But as we all know, sometimes that's just not possible for the good of both parties. So, number two, do your best to relieve the other person of guilt. I've seen this done too many times. Starting an argument with, here's what you did wrong, I don't like it, so now I want you to fix it, is the surest guarantee that you're both going to walk away from that conversation angrier than you came in. So if you want to right someone else's wrongdoings, I suggest you start with I think or I believe that you could have done X better. Or if you want to be even more fancy, start by complimenting them and talking about your own insufficiencies. If the other person sees that his faults aren't put under the lens of a microscope in order to be judged by someone, and that the person in front of him is able to acknowledge his own faults and insufficiencies, he's going to be much more inclined to listen to that person. Number 3 is listen when the other person talks. Sounds easy, doesn't it? You might actually think that you're doing this right now in your fights, but in reality, what you're actually doing is hearing the other person whilst thinking about what argument to shove down their throat next. Listening is a two-way street. If you want others to do it, you have to do it first. This will make the other person feel extremely important, given how unused we all are to be listened to by others. And this in turn will make him want to listen to you. Number 4 is never enter an argument with the goal to win or to show it to the other person. I think this should be clear by now, but there is no way to win an argument. Even if you destroy the other person with your sound arguments and your impeccable logic, if you burst him to the ground, he's going to feel like shit. You're going to have hurt his feelings, and in turn, he's not going to listen to a thing that you have to say. So the only thing you get from that kind of argument is a measly sense of superiority. If that's what you want, then go ahead. But if you want your arguments to be productive rather than destructive, I suggest you focus on the next 3 goals. Number 1, to listen to and to understand the other person's point of view. Number 2, to make your point in such a way that the other person will want to listen to it. And finally, number 3, to both walk away feeling like you're happy you had that fight, which right now isn't even a fight anymore. It has turned into a productive conversation between 2 mature individuals. And lastly, number 5, never insult the other person in any way. The number 1 thing that should never exit your mouth are insults. That's it. You have no idea how many times I've seen insults being thrown around mindlessly in arguments. There's just no point in it. Don't do it. Even if the other person does, be stronger, kinder, and eventually your kindness will overwhelm them. But okay guys, those were my 5 tips on how you can become better at arguing. I hope you managed to get something from this video. I surely got something while filming it. I almost wanted to fucking just quit it all yesterday, but thankfully I didn't. And right now, I was actually able to film this entire video. But nonetheless, that was all for this video. Thank you for sticking with me until the end, and until next time, if you want to see my dumb face again, check out this video right here or right here, wherever the fuck I want to put it. Have the most amazing day and keep growing.